Hello, I'm Beck, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be drawing a D&D character based on the roll of the dice. Let's bring out the Tower of Destiny! So we have Shadar-kai Paladin. Now, a Shadar-kai is a type of elf from Shadowfell, which is like a dark realm. They usually follow someone called the Raven Queen, and they exist in a state between life and death, thanks to being transformed by Shadowfell's grim energy. So they're described as having ashen skin tones, and while they're in Shadowfell, they also become wizened, reflecting the somber nature of the gloomy plane. Sorry if my voice sounds weird. I am currently sick with the spicy cough, aka COVID, and I don't feel amazing, but I am powering through. So here we go. Traits about the Shadar-kai. They are humanoid, they are medium-sized, they have a walking speed of 30 feet, they have a trait that is called Blessing of the Raven Queen. As a bonus action, you can magically teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So it's kind of like having Misty Step, except I think you can use it more often, depending on your proficiency bonus. Starting at 3rd level, you also gain resistance to all damage when you teleport using this trait. Your resistance lasts until the start of your next turn. During that time, you appear ghostly and translucent. So that's cool and creepy. You have dark vision. You have Fey ancestry, which means you have advantage on saving throws you make to avoid or end the charmed condition on yourself. You have keen senses, which means you have proficiency in the perception skill. And you have necrotic resistance. You have resistance to all necrotic damage. And trance, which is an elf thing where you don't need to sleep, but you it's like sleeping, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in a trance-like meditation, during which you retain consciousness. So it's very similar to sleeping, except you're in a trance. Yeah. So that is Shadar-kai. They are all gloomy and dark, so I wanted this character to be kind of emo-ish. And being a paladin, she's also taken some sort of oath. She's bound by the oath of the paladin, and that gives her her power, and she's a mighty fighter. Technically, looking at it, you don't actually take the sacred oath until you reach 3rd level. Apparently before that you're at the preparatory stage. So basically you can be a paladin with kind of, it seems like levels 1 and 2, you're like a paladin in training, like you're promised to take the oath but you haven't actually taken an oath yet. The oath is basically the subclasses that are available to you. Other traits, we'll circle back to the oath, but other traits that you get as a paladin include divine health, which means that you are immune to disease. Divine smite, which means when you hit a creature with a melee weapon, you can expend 1 spell slot to deal radiant damage to the target in addition to the weapon's damage. After you've taken the sacred oath at level 3, you get oath spells, which are associated with whichever subclass oath you choose. You get channel divinity. Your oath allows you to channel divine energy to fuel magical effects. It sort of depends on which one you choose again. So a lot of it is based around the oath that you make. Obviously, as a paladin, that's where your magic comes from. So if you have a different kind of oath, that affects the spells and the kind of channeling divinity stuff that you get. There are a few other things that come in at level 5 and higher, like extra attack, aura of protection, aura of courage, and improved divine smite, cleansing touch, aura improvements. But for the sake of someone starting out a character, you really just need to know those earlier ones. And in terms of the oath, I was thinking of making her into an Oathbreaker Paladin because they are the darkest ones, and they have a lot of moves that are more evil seeming than your standard Paladin who's like protecting the light. But I thought probably Oath of Vengeance would be more applicable, especially if she's following the Raven Queen. I don't know a lot about the Raven Queen, but what I do know is that she has this thing about like collecting history or something, and I think she was probably banished to Shadowfell. So it seems like her followers would have more of an Oath of Vengeance, being loyal to the Shadow Queen, rather than an Oathbreaker where she's made an oath and then broken it. I don't know why she wouldn't keep following the Raven Queen. She seems like a pretty cool lady. So yeah, Oath of Vengeance is the one that we've got. This chick whose name is Obsidian. She's chosen the name Obsidian, obviously. Or maybe her parents are also very dark and thought that was a very beautiful name for her, but that is her name. And let's look at her stats. -1 to strength means that she probably wouldn't be able to tip over a statue or break free of ropes or something if she's tied up. She probably wouldn't be able to force a door open, but she is quite dexterous, so she'd be able to pick a lock much more easily with the +3 on dex. She's very sneaky. She can do the sneaky things that need to be done. And let's see. That kind of stuff involves like disabling a trap or tying up a prisoner. So she could wriggle free from bonds, but not break bonds using strength. So if you have high dex, it can make up for a little bit of low strength. Next we have the Constitution. That's the kind of thing where if she needs to hold her breath for a long time or go without sleep for a long time, surviving without food or water, or being able to eat food that's unfamiliar to her, just that sort of stuff. Like her physical internal resilience, I think it would be. At the moment, my constitution is very low. I have very low internal resistance, where strength is external resistance. Constitution is internal, and hers is pretty decent with a +2. I think she's trained herself to be internally strong if she hasn't necessarily trained herself to be externally strong. Or maybe, no, elves can get pretty strong, so she just has focused only on one area of her personal training, I think. In terms of intelligence, she's just average, so +0. That means her ability to like remember things and recalling lore and information about your history or magical things, your ability to, say, forge a document or recall a lesson that you've learned about how to do stuff. winning games of skill, estimating the value of items. These would all fall under intelligence. Now, different to intelligence is wisdom. So wisdom reflects how attuned you are to the world around you, and it's sort of more about being perceptive rather than clever. So wisdom is where you would see like insight and animal handling and medicine, things where it's less about what you know and more about what you feel, kind of. If you have high wisdom, you would have good gut instincts. So I'm going to say she maybe doesn't have the best gut instincts with her -1. I think she's sort of a little bit blinded by her own ideas. So instead of being able to read someone else, she'll sort of project what she wants them to feel and just assume that that's correct. So I think she misreads people a lot by, say, assuming that they're scared when maybe they're just confused or something like that. But with her charisma, she's got a +2. So I think when she is trying to be scary, she can be. I think she can intimidate people pretty easily. And she can probably be charming too when she wants to be, but I think she never really wants to be. I think she really just prefers to be intimidating. In terms of a call to adventure, like why is Obsidian joining an adventuring party to go off and explore the world, I think it would be a case of, and bearing in mind she has her Oath of Vengeance, I think maybe something that belonged to the Raven Queen has been stolen, some artifact of some sort, and she's been tasked with getting it back. And so her oath is to retrieve this item at any cost, and she might join an adventuring party with like a deal to say, if you help me get this item back, I will help you in whatever it is that you need. And that way it could just be almost a one-off adventure to help her find this artifact, or it could be an overarching thing. But once she has it, she's also bound by a secondary oath, which is to help all the other members of the party achieve whatever their goals are as well. It's one of the fun things about paladins. They're all about oaths, so if you have to make an oath, it makes it easy for the DM to justify why she's still going along with the party even after she's gotten what she wants from the deal. As far as her background is concerned, I don't think this is a case where she grew up always knowing that she was going to be a paladin warrior for the Raven Queen. I think it was more a case of like growing up in a society where you have this idyllic leader that everyone looks up to. And some people grow up to be librarians, and some people grow up to be chefs, and there are all the different kinds of jobs available, but she's chosen to be a soldier. She's enlisted into the army of the Raven Queen, and maybe gone up the ranks pretty quickly because she's so passionate in her like desire to follow the Raven Queen, that she's made this oath, and it's probably a required oath for her level of soldier. And maybe the first step within the oath is to go out and try and get this stolen relic, or maybe there are a bunch of items that have been stolen, or maybe just items the Raven Queen wants, but her assignment is to get this item, and she's made an oath to serve the Raven Queen and to retrieve the item. And that's what she's going to do. So what do we think of Obsidian? I think she turned out really well. I like the gothy emo vibes of this one. Lots of buckles and lots of broken clothes. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of this one in the comments, and I hope you're all happy and healthy and have a great week. I'll see you next time. Bye!